What's up, y'all? It's your girl Brandy from Stay Snatched, and I'm sharing yet another one-pot soup recipe. This lemon chicken orzo soup is both comforting and refreshing with the burst of flavors that you're gonna find in every single bite. I love that this recipe is also loaded with veggies, so it's a true one-pot meal. No need for any side dishes. So I'm gonna start with some orzo first, and then some pretty standard veggies. I use these in most of my soups: carrots, onions, celery, garlic. For my spices, I'm gonna use some Italian seasoning, some lemon pepper seasoning to add some additional flavor, salt. I've got some fresh squeezed lemon juice along with some lemon zest. And then I also have flour that's going to thicken the soup. I'm using chicken thighs, but you can also use chicken breasts. And of course, I have just some chicken broth here as well. I'm gonna start by adding some olive oil to my pot, and I didn't slice up these chicken thighs, but you totally can if you like. These are gonna cook in the soup and they're gonna get tender and juicy, and they're gonna kind of pull apart and shred themselves basically, so I skipped that step. But if you wanna dice these into smaller chunks, you can. I highly recommend you do that if you use chicken breasts as well, because they aren't as tender. Next, I'm gonna add in those spices. And so here, I really just want to sear the spices into the chicken. You don't have to fully cook it through because it's going to cook again in the soup. So the purpose here is just to sear the chicken, lock those flavors and spices in, and then we're gonna move on to the next step. So I removed those chicken thighs and I'm gonna add in my veggies, and I'm just gonna saute these until the vegetables are soft, those onions are translucent and fragrant. Then I'm gonna sprinkle in my flour. I like to sprinkle the flour in stages so that this doesn't get too thick and clump up on me. So sprinkle in some flour, give everything a stir, sprinkle in more flour and give everything a stir. Again, this is what's going to thicken up the soup so that it isn't overly watery. Just gonna give it the perfect texture. Next, I'm gonna add the broth in. Give everything a good stir. If you need to deglaze the bottom of that pot, you can do that now that the broth is in there. You can use the back of a wooden spoon and just scrape the bottom of that pot and keep those flavors locked in there. Next, I'm gonna add in my lemon juice and lemon zest. Now the chicken goes back in the pot, and I'm adjusting the heat on the stove to high so that I can get this going to a rolling boil. And once this is at a rolling boil, I'm going to adjust the heat to low and place the lid on the pot and let this simmer for 15 minutes. And you can see that that chicken is starting to get tender, and this is thickened up a little bit. Next, I'm gonna add the orzo in. So once you add the orzo, give everything a good stir and let this simmer for about 10 additional minutes, uncovered, for however long it takes for that orzo to soften up. You want your chicken to be nice and tender and juicy. So if you need some additional time, go ahead and give yourself that here. But this should really soften up within 15 to 20 minutes. Here, I like to taste it repeatedly, adjust the spices if I need to. Make sure that it tastes exactly the way you want it to taste. And there you have it, such a quick and easy meal. This is perfect for fall. This is perfect for any time of year because it's so refreshing.